Hello everybody, welcome back. This is the Crystal Tomb. I am kcStranger, and these are my players who are actually here. But hopefully we will be joined by more shortly.
Hello.
So last time, the party came to Vixeth, the Yuan-Ti city, seeking the Crown of Allure, one of the 7 vestiges of Alkadir, which they heard was hidden in the city. They decided that Alistair should pose as a slaver, with Fallon and Halale, his attendants or guards, or however you want to call that, and Colleen, his personal slave. The group was brought inside a high-walled section of the city, which I'll ping right there, that served as the home of the Nightmare Speakers, powerful priests devoted to Dendar, where they began negotiations. Meanwhile, Alistair cast invisibility on Cain, who found his way straight to the temple in search of the crown. Cain searched the first floor of the temple, most notably finding a more humanoid Yuan-Ti, which is, I'll go and say, is known as a pureblood, going over a manifest of items to be delivered to a Lady Visaya Estava Simitashi. She then, Cain then took a set of stairs to the second floor. And we are actually, as much as I left on a cliffhanger last time with the rest of the group, we're not going to pick up there because I'm hoping to be joined by 2 more people involved in that interaction. So instead, we're going to jump over to Cain. So Cain, you go up to the second floor, and I forgot to hide stuff before shifting you over again, but that's fine. Now you can just see where all the entrances are. And I need to do a little bit of setup because I didn't think to do this while I was preparing. So,
How dare you, sir?
I'm going to GM layer all that.
It's Dick Chickens.
Gonna bring you back.
I don't
And
know if he's
Dirty dick chickens, you old son bitch.
let me see. Oh, is this actually rotated? Oh, that's interesting.
You're rotated.
Okay, so I'm noticing basically a plot hole, which is that I have some of these maps rotated 180 degrees from the direction that they should be. So what I'm going to do real quick is see that thing where I indicated that that direction is west. I'm just going to like slyly go in there and change that. That's actually east. All right.
Don't make me laugh.
So
Well, I hope you weren't keeping track of where you've been. Okay.
it's literally just like rotated 180 degrees.
Snake labyrinths, man. What are you gonna do?
All right.
Oh, man,
So you come up and you see this. Hello, Sheeplord. Or is Sheeplord here? Yeah, he is.
He's there, but I don't know if he's talking.
I'm
here.
Yep. I was gonna start with you guys, but we're gonna start with Cain instead, just because Brave might show up. So Cain,
Hello.
there you are.
How much time is left of this invisibility?
So you're at 25 minutes presently.
Like left or used?
Left.
Book. Alright, let's go, boys. I'm the best around.
Alright, so you see down a long hallway into what appears to be a storeroom. You also see a door.
I bet the crown's in there. In that storeroom of stuff. Why are people inviting me to League of Legends? I am playing D&D right now.
Alright, so now you see this whole room and a door here.
Do I see a crown?
So you want to take time to search? Are you searching quickly or carefully?
Well, just like a cursory glance. Like, it was mostly as a joke that I say, do I see a crown in the storeroom?
Okay, I mean, that being said, you know, you potentially find different amounts of stuff. Go ahead and give me investigation just to sort of take in the... Or actually, you know what, no. Give me perception just to sort of take in the room quickly.
Thank you. Oh, merciful DM. Really regret that negative intelligence. Now that I realize...
Well, shit. Okay. So,
Get wrecked,
you've
Kim.
done quite a bit of rummaging through other people's stuff in your lifetime.
Yeah,
Um,
that's true.
and you managed to take this room in pretty quickly. So first of all, you do see a pretty large amount of gold and jewels in the room. Just sort of mentally tallying it up, you think it might come to upwards of about 10,000 gold. Um,
Holy shit.
you also notice a sort of eclectic variety of mostly natural objects, including herbs, skins, minerals, um, and a few random looking liquids that you can't quite place. But go ahead and give me actually nature.
I mean, you had me at 10,000 gold, but okay.
Okay,
Ha
yeah.
ha.
I'm giving you just exactly what I said. No additional clues.
So you said gold and jewels, you say?
Yeah, yeah, and then like I said, also a bunch of like herbs, skins, minerals.
Yeah, can't ignore all that. The gold and jewels now.
Yeah, yeah. What
um,
about it?
like, look, if if I pick up a jewel, what happens to the jewel? Does it turn invisible too?
You want
Or
to
like,
go over and pick one up?
yeah, pick it up, and then I hold it like this, and then do this to see if like covering it up makes it invisible.
Okay. Um. You know what?
I need to know how this shit works. Like,
Oh, thank you. I wanted to make it random because I didn't want to just do this because of the meme. But so you see a ruby sitting close to the top of one of the piles. It would have been something else on not a one, but uh, you know a fairly decent sized ruby. You pick it up. It looks spotless. You sort of cover it up. You do some things that you imagine um, might be a trigger if it was anything like magical. But seems fine. Seems like a normal ruby.
well, I'm saying like, is it invisible in my hand?
No.
If I cover it up with my hand, is it
Oh, that's
invisible?
what you mean. You're like seeing if the spell applies to it. Yes. Well,
Okay,
actually, no, wait a minute. No, you'd have no way of knowing.
I'm doing this. I'm putting the ruby in my hand and putting my hand over my hand.
Yeah, but you can
Completely,
still see yourself while you're under the effects of invisibility.
I can.
Yeah, you know where you are, right?
I
Well,
don't,
Yeah, otherwise it's really hard to pick things up when you're invisible because you can't see where your hand is. And that's pretty important when trying to get something.
so I mean, that being said, if you need a reminder about how invisibility works, you can just like you can either give an Arcana check or you can just read what Jato put in the chat.
But that's metagaming, so
Yeah,
so
it's a
cool.
fairly weak metagame though, so I'm
I
kind
was
of
doing
okay
this
with
for
it.
Casey's sake, not Kane's sake.
Oh,
I
I
can
know how
count.
I know how
I
the
can
spell works.
counter metagame and say Kane's too dumb to have thought about this. It just
Paul,
looks
go ahead and
crap.
give me Arcana then. Okay, so just sort of thinking about this rationally, this entire time you've been carrying your shit and you've been like wearing clothes and stuff like that, and people seem to have been treating you as if all that is invisible. So you sort of piece together that if you're carrying like a ruby, then it will probably be invisible as well.
Otherwise, dust would really fuck up the spell. Just immediately, you'd get dust on you. Be like, that sucks.
Kane's gonna hoover the gold and jewels.
Okay, interesting. All right, so go
Well,
ahead and just add
give me my.
£5,
Oh, okay.
£5 of golden jewels. Mark
Just put
down.
gold and jewels in 5 pounds.
Yeah, mark down that they're worth 10,000 GP. But this is interesting. This is very interesting.
Casey put a trap he knew only Kane would fall for.
I also gave you 10,000. So,
That's true. No, if I could keep this, it'd be great.
all right.
Alright, so do I hear anything beyond these doors?
Which ones? I'm just checking both of them.
Yes. Well, 3 of them? There appear to be 3
Oh
doors.
yeah. Okay. So again, like
Top one first. Top
like what are
left.
you? Okay. And are you just sort of like walking
Anything
silently
behind
over to it,
it.
putting your ear against the door for a moment, and seeing if you hear anything, that kind of thing?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So you go over to the top door and you hear. You know what? Just give me one perception check for like all of this.
Sweet. All or nothing, baby. All or nothing. Fuck.
Okay. At the top, I mean, it's not like you're gonna hear nothing. On a 6, nothing would be like a crit fail. So you go to the top door, and you do hear the voice of some kind of what you now understand to be a Yuan Ti voice through that door. It's hard to make out much else, and you can't tell what it's saying either. Oh, I need to get something up real quick. Just to remind myself
Remind yourself.
what's actually. There we go. Okay. All right. Cool. So yeah, you hear a low Yuan Ti voice behind the first one, but you're not quite sure what it's saying. The second door to the left, you faintly hear some sort of garbled speech. Definitely not a Yuan Ti. But you're having trouble placing it. It sounds like it's rather distant. Like it sounds like the sound is kind of echoey and it's like attenuated by the time it gets to you. From the bottom door, you hear more like chopping sounds, sort of like the kitchen that you were listening into, or I mean, that you saw on the lower level.
And just to be clear, there were no other paths to go, right? Like at that staircase, that left was a wall.
Well, so on top, like what you have revealed is actually an exit to like the terrace on the outside.
Like, this is the wall, right?
Oh yeah, that's a wall.
Okay, cool. Left door. I'm gonna slowly open it and peek around.
Okay. Give me. Let's. So, are you trying to open it just a little bit and peer, or are you just sort of opening it?
Open a little bit and peer.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
All right. So let me think about this. I am going to say, give me sleight of hand with disadvantage
Huh? What disadvantage? That's sad.
due to the difficulty of what is being attempted.
You make me cry, Casey.
All right. I need to check something. I will set the difficulty this way.
Rip boys. This is the last you'll hear of Kane.
Okay. You sort of peek through, you fairly quietly. You wince a little bit as you do hear a bit of a sound that you know would tip off anyone being really observant. But you ease open the door and see into the room. And you see basically this. And let me see. So it's going to actually, hold on a sec. So if you're just creaking it open, I'm going to say that the hinge would be on the left side. So you're going to see kind of like this. So you see a couple creatures that look sort of hunched and serpentine. Just sort of looking at their faces and sort of the absent way that they look around the room. They don't strike you as particularly intelligent, but they're just sort of standing sentinel by that hallway there. Also, looking through the table, you see through the room, you see some rough stone tables, a couple fire pits, and as you look on the tables, you see a variety of like hooks and knives and other various things. Looking at the table, you notice blood spatters on some of them. This looks like perhaps a torture chamber.
Awesome. But they're guarding something.
There are 2 creatures standing sentinel.
Was there like any
They do not react, by the way, to what you've done so far.
was there like any meat or anything in that stuff over there?
Any meat?
Like you said there was like some hides and vials of liquid and stuff. Is there like any like meat?
Oh, I see. Let me think about that. I'll do it this way. Where are my dice? There are my dice. No.
Okay. Well, how wide is the opening
Which opening?
in the door?
I mean, so you just, I'd imagine, put it open just enough to look through into the room.
Can I try to like shimmy in there? Shimmy, yeah.
Yeah, give me stealth. Okay, yeah. You slip into the room, gently ease the door closed. Makes a small sound as it sort of clicks back into place, and you notice the creature on the left sort of turn its head in your direction, and its gaze passes over you, but it doesn't seem to react to you having entered. And we'll reveal this.
Cool. How big are these big pits of fire?
Well,
Great
it
balls.
looks like they're pretty big, maybe like 6 feet across.
Can I go like here and look over it and see what's down that hallway?
Yes. And actually, let me see. You know what? Given how far back you're standing, I'll go ahead and say reveal this. So you see what appear to be cells with goblins in them.
Rip goblins. Wait, hold on. Hold on. Do I see the keys?
Oh, wait a minute. Let me think about this. Let's see how much foresight the person who locked them up had. So I'll call it that. No, you did not.
How much time I have left?
So you spent a little bit of time, like, rummaging in that room and getting gold and stuff. So I would say you're at about 22 minutes now.
How long would it take to, if I were to like pick all the locks? How long would that take me? I feel like something like Kane would have a good idea of.
Yeah, I mean, it only takes you a few seconds to actually pick one of the locks. And now the time will depend. I'll say mechanically, time will depend on how well you roll. A low roll could mean that you're making a little bit more of a clattering as you do that. That being said, like, you're pretty practiced at this, so if you get right on it, and just sort of looking at the lock, it doesn't seem like anything particularly special, so you might be able to spring it open in just a second or two.
Okay. Hold on one second. What did I... I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out what I put my expertise in. Oh, okay. I see. Okay. Okay. All right. Never mind.
Okay.
All right. That's not a big gap between those guys.
I mean, so actual distance between them is at least 10 to 15, is at least like 10 feet. So you can, you ought to be able to walk through them.
I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
I think a dice prison break distraction is what I need.
Okay. So as you get closer, you do notice that one of the goblins looks different than the other ones. That being the one that you're right next to.
All right. And how many? So it's one goblin per cell.
Yep. And there are 8 of them.
I'm gonna go through and start picking the locks from the back.
Okay.
Wait,
Give.
hold on. Will that break my invisibility?
I don't think so. No, it's just like attacking or
Okay,
casting a spell.
Okay. I should put my expertise in my thieves tool. What's it thinking? Dang it. Anyway. So what do you want?
So check with thieves' tools. Okay, yeah, you go up, and just like immediately, it's like lots of people would have more trouble with the key. You spring the lock off the door, it swings freely, and a very surprised-looking goblin suddenly like hushes from chattering with the one in the cell next to it, sort of looks over in a surprised way, and is wide-eyed.
I don't even acknowledge. I just start picking locks. Speedrun these locks.
Okay, yeah, you go through. I'll just count that first check for all of them, and yeah, just one after another, all the locks come off, and like you do it pretty silently too, and you see all the goblins sort of look at each other for a moment. Where do you want to wind up standing after all this happens?
I figure I'll do the leader looking guy last. Or the different looking one last.
Okay. So I'm just saying, do you slip off to a certain point? Because I'm gonna start.
Oh, well, once I get to the last lock, I'm just gonna go and enjoy.
Okay. Yeah. So okay, this is interesting. So you flip open all the locks. The goblins just sort of look at each other, a little bit wide-eyed, and then you hear the leader sort of say something. In the goblin tongue, they're all just sort of chittering back and forth. The two guard-looking guys by the door don't seem to be doing anything. Then the goblins creep out of their cells and get ready for action. So, first of all, we're going to see how quietly they did that. So I'll just do a couple of checks. Let's do goblin. Alright. Okay. Alright. So most of them sort of slip out quietly. But as this guy right here is climbing out of his cell, he trips, and the door swings into the wall and makes sort of a loud clang. At this point, the two they're actually, I'll go ahead and just say their name. They're called brood guards. Sort of swivel their heads around and look down the hallway and see the goblins just sort of start making a break for it. In addition, this door opens up, so you can now see a little bit into this room. And a Yuan Ti comes running out of this room as well.
Is the door still open?
The one that, this one over here? Oh,
No,
is this
when
door
he
still
walked
open?
The one that
Yeah,
goes-
he leaves it sort of swinging freely open behind him.
I'm gonna slip in real quick. Wah!
All right.
Hold on. Wah! Well, not over him. Past him.
Okay, cool. So here's how we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this like in quasi combat rounds.
Okay, sweet.
So I'll just sort of like see how the goblin escape attempt goes, and then I'll pause for you to do something. All right. So
All goblins roll natural 20s on their attack rolls.
so first of all, these guys are just trying to book it out of there. So the lead one, get to about here. But we're going to see how many of them, of course, during the same time, the Yuan Ti will be moving. So I'm just sort of abstracting this a little bit while I... Alright. So potentially they could all get to about here, but the two brood guards are swiping at them as they come through. So 20 plus 4. Okay, Rip. I'm just gonna call, or actually, let me see here. Just gonna call Rip on this guy for that. Here's another attack. That's a miss. Okay, and second one, this will be going after the leader. That's a miss. Or actually, wait a minute. No, because he's not actually wearing armor. So that is actually a hit. So that's 10 damage plus, no, that's not a hit. Okay, so 10 damage on him. I think he actually survives that. Yep. Alright, and then this guy is going to start doing some things. And you sort of see the beginning of this fight as they're all sort of slipping out. Let me see here. He'd probably, or would he bother with that? Yeah, maybe he would actually. Does he have anything? Okay. This guy steps up and is going to catch 3 of them with a poison spray. So you notice this guy actually cast a spell as all the goblins go charging out. So it's a +5 to hit. Uh, 12. Let me see here. Yeah, again, these guys are unarmored, so that actually is a hit. So poison spray, poison spray. Oh, 2d12, that's probably a rip. Ooh, no it isn't. Okay, so he catches them all with the spell, but they actually all sort of have bubbling wounds at the moment, but they keep going. Oh wait, no, except that's a con save. So, fail.
Hashtag
Fail.
make the DM work.
Yeah. Alright. So this is, let me see. This is going to be about what things look like at the end of the first round of Prison Break. I'll probably have stepped over to here, actually. Alright. So you saw some of that go down, but now you've slipped entirely into this room. So this appears to be some kind of office. You do see a small shrine, like sort of a some snake imagery carved into the stone on the wall. You see just like a chair, a shelf with a few particularly nasty looking implements on it. Sort of a large, hook, sort of a knife with lots of spikes coming off of the side. There's also a desk that has, let me see here. You do see some papers on that desk.
Let's give a quick cursory, like kind of just a quick look around at stuff. Anything interesting? Anything crowd related?
Okay. So looking around, probably about the only thing that seems potentially useful, except for maybe something that would be tucked away somewhere, or if there's some kind of like secret hole in this room, you can't quite be sure now. But your eyes are immediately drawn to the desk. You know what? Just given the amount of pressure in the situation, I'm going to say give me investigation for speed reading.
Speed reading.
What sort of pressure?
Oh, Kane just engineered a jailbreak.
Oh, lovely.
Welcome.
18. Let's
Okay,
go.
so you actually do a decent job then. All right.
Kate could read.
So you don't have time to read the whole thing thoroughly, but you skim through the first, and there are sort of two pieces of parchment on the table. The first one seems to be talking about these goblins. You see something about an army on the southern border and something about extracting information from the goblins. And then at the bottom, it's got actually the same name that you saw before, Lady Visaya Estava Simitashi, as the person this information is supposed to be delivered to. And you just sort of take that in very quickly. Now, let me see here. Okay. And that's as far as you get during this first round. You haven't gotten through all of the information that's there yet, though. All right, and now we have to do a second round of jailbreak. So, let me see. Let's see how many the brood guards can cut down. So that'll be a hit. And, okay, he's down to 1. That's another hit. Oh, whatever, it doesn't matter. He's dead. All right, so the goblin leader becomes a corpse on the floor. And then it'll turn around and attack one more. Okay, gets at another one. All right, so this first brood guard cuts down 2 more goblins as they go screaming and running out of the room. Okay, next one. It's probably another rip. Yep. Cuts down another fleeing goblin. 11 will not hit. That will, though. And that's another breast and pepperonis. Okay, and then the final guy will sort of pull out a scimitar that he has belted. So he'll try to bite. First one. Of course, Kane, you're no longer seeing this, but whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a crit fail. Well, shit. Okay, he goes to bite a goblin and trips and falls into the fire pit, actually. So he'll spend his whole turn taking 2d4 fire damage. Alright. And these other 3 goblins will... Alright, so this guy is probably about here. This guy's up to here. And these guys are going to continue to flee. So he'll get to about here. So you do continue to hear the sound of fleeing goblins. And you hear sort of some a string that you don't understand the language, but it sounds like cursing coming from the other side of the door. All right, Kane, are you just continuing to read?
That's just some interesting stuff. Readings for losers. All right. Fuck. It won't be in an office. I'm gonna go try to creak this door open a bit. Slowly open this door here.
Okay, give me another. Let me think here. Just give me normal sleight of hand.
Yeah.
So no disadvantage this time.
I don't like disadvantage.
Okay, you would have done fine even with it. Yeah, so you peek the door open a little bit, and you see what appears to be a living quarters. With as far in as you can see, you just see one of the purebloods.
Living quarters, huh?
Mm-hmm.
They're totally unaffected by the ruckus outside? What slackers?
Actually, that's a good point. But whatever, I didn't actually have them do anything. So yeah, they're unaffected.
Okay. Fuck, man. I guess I'm gonna go like here and wait for them to leave the room so I could slip in behind them through the door.
Okay. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, let me see here. So this guy's gonna be 5, 10. Okay, so he is going to be able to start attacking some fleeing gobbos. So hit, miss, hit. Let me see here. So that'll be okay. Rip. And I did that wrong, but whatever. It's still rip. Rip. This guy can't catch up. This guy pulls himself out of the fire pit. Let's say he's got 15 feet. Okay, so he can only just make it to the door. All right, and we got one fleeing goblin who goes running for his life. Let me see here.
Run, my child. Run.
And actually makes it sort of away. All right, so yeah, so I'll go out of this quasi-combat thing and say that this one goblin actually manages to break out of this level of the temple. These guys have now been well and truly distracted and are sort of chasing after it. And you see, and the door is sort of left wide open as they go running away.
This door.
Okay.
Slowly creak.
Sleight of hand.
Okay. This is too much excitement for me.
Okay. So you can kind of see about this much of the room. Does appear to be another kitchen. There's also
yes.
an exit.
Kitchen was it.
There's one yuan tea in there. Another pureblood.
Fuck that bitch. Meow.
Stealth.
Okay.
Okay. You slip through the room. Are you just looking to go through that next door as well? Okay, yeah. You open up the next door. Very slight breeze wafts through the room, and the the pureblood in there sort of looks up, wondering, like, you know, did something just go by? But
Ah,
then dismisses the thought. So
maybe
yeah, so
it
you
was just the wind.
so you get to the other
Weird.
side of the door, and you kind of see like this.
Room.
Okay, so as you go by,
Not
so
in the
now
wall.
you're in the wall. But as you go by here, there's a stairwell here, and another stairwell here. And as you look in here, you see what appears to be some kind of forge, and there's a male pureblood sort of hammering something at the
Hey
moment.
man, can you make me a nice dagger? I'm gonna go upstairs.
Okay.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
All right. So let me see. Quite a few things happen there, but so like that's a minute. That's a minute.
I really thought the dark goblins would do better.
I mean, that all happened pretty quickly though, and you didn't spend too long on it. So I'm gonna say 20 minutes left as you go to the next floor. And with this, actually, wait. Let me do something real quick. Yeah. Okay. Do. I'm just doing some bookkeeping. Never mind me. Just changing letters on maps.
So,
So-
do I still have the zombies from last time? And they're just like chilling down here? Or
They're
no, you
chilling
said I left them outside the city.
You did?
Yeah, if you don't get back by bedtime to recast your spell on them, they're gonna
They'll
go.
turn into pumpkins.
Well, I mean, so it's interesting. You lose control over them, but
yeah, they just
then
go wild.
but then what do? See, that's an interesting question. You may or may not find them where you left them at that point. Okay. So that being so Kane, as Kane goes up to the third floor, with 20 minutes left on invisibility, we are now going to cut back to everybody else.
the third of how many floors though?
Find out. Maybe.
Hey now.
We might find out. Okay. So we now go back to the rest of the party, who, as I indicated before, you've sort of been brought into the city, into this higher walled district that is sort of under the control of the Nightmare Speakers, who are Yuan-Ti. They have sort of a shamanistic appearance. They have like large headdresses, at least the sort of the more prominent ones, if you will. Most of the Yuan-Ti in this section of the city, well, there are some purebloods who look sort of humanoid. The ones that are more snake-like tend to be of the variety that are sort of snake from the torso down and more humanoid up from that. But yeah, so you sort of had an escort of one Nightmare Speaker, whose name was
Simon.
Isley. And she, along with 3 of the Yuan-Ti Malazans, who are sort of like the ones you fought in the woods, bring you to a small but elegantly carved stone building that appears to be 2 stories. The lower floor is dominated by a single large room, but as you enter, there are a few smaller rooms in the back left. And at the back right, there's a stairwell that ascends to a second story. The room smells very heavily of incense. And you enter with Isley, leaving the 3 other escorts that you had outside the door. In the center of the room, there's a large oval table set up, and at its head is a final Yuan-Ti, again, another Nightmare Speaker. And at the stairwell, there are 2 purebloods, and you can hear sort of faint sounds, some sort of oh, actually, no, I take that back. So yeah, just end there. You don't hear anything from the back rooms. And the second Nightmare Speaker looks at you, sort of gestures towards the table. She's not actually seated on any kind of chair since her lower body is sort of a fairly large, snake body. But she gestures towards the chairs and says, "Welcome. Now, let us begin our negotiation." Do you all just sort of move up to the table?
Yeah, have a seat.
Okay.
I will stand guard solemnly.
I actually kick my feet up on the table too.
Okay.
Like lean back in the chair.
I touch you on the shoulder and say, "Sir, 4 on the floor. Safety first."
All right, I'll sit back down.
You see her eyes just sort of widen very slightly as you come in, sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Brashly. Haleo, Colleen, how are you guys situating yourselves?
I have absolutely no idea what's going on.
You're gallivanting as Jato's personal slave.
The ruse basically is that you're slavers looking to set up a deal with the Yuan Ti.
So he wasn't lying.
No, I told you he got it 100% correct.
You hurt my feel. You hurt my feels, bro.
Well, I'm going to be standing like sort of close enough to Alistair to, I want to basically stand guard around Alistair.
All right. Colleen?
Look serious. Look important.
I will feign meekness and cling close to my... I don't know, is there another slave, or am I just into
You're
Jacob?
the only slave.
Okay,
But you're
I'm,
like Missandei from
I'm just into my masters.
before she got freed. That's why we described it yesterday.
Totally. I don't know what that is.
All right. So, so Isley sort of moves from sort of close to your party and moves to about midway down the table, and then the Yuan Ti at the other end sort of looks you all over and says, "I am called Hesatal Siatash," and here's that name. May I ask what I might call all of you?
I think for a fake name, my character would have a fake name by now. 'Cause he's a smart person, but I did not think of one. Anyone got a fake name? You may call me
Alistair.
Dick Chicken.
Richard Chickens. Let's start the shit right now. Richard Chickens the third. Sir Richard Chickens.
Is that what you're going with?
Yeah, we're going with.
All right. Go ahead and give me a deception check.
Absolutely. I don't remember what my stats are.
All right.
A.
And she looks at you and says, "And your companions?"
Well, I mean, they're just the two big guys are hired help. I found that gold often buys more safety than slaves do, and this one here is my lovely assistant, Melania.
Personal slave.
Oh gosh.
Call her what she is.
I was going with the melon thing, and then it turned into a political thing real quick.
No, it's all right. See, I'm spelling it like this in my notes
Perfect.
because you did pronounce it a little bit differently.
Yeah, I like it. Melania.
Okay.
That should be
And
the quote.
then
I was going with the melon thing and it turned political real quick.
Hesatal says, "Forgive me if I like to know who I do business with." And she looks at you, Fallon, and says, "What is your name, good sir?"
And I tell her my name. Fallon Fenris.
Okay. And you, good Sir Elf.
Hello.
I looked back and forth to both them real quick, just like, come on, you guys aren't enjoying the bit.
All right.
I would probably fail my deception, so I just didn't want to try.
Yeah, no, that's probably fair.
All right.
I guess they have no reason to know who we are, so fake names probably weren't needed. But
Oh,
I
I mean,
love it.
you know,
Alistair likes to live dangerously.
Yeah,
man.
dude. No, Alistair's fucking into it right now.
I mean, like, also, how. I will just say, I sometimes have you make checks that have a rather low DC. You know?
Yeah.
Anyways, so Hestel sort of nods and then looks back at you, Alistair, and says, "So, perhaps we can get straight to business. What is the nature of your merchandise? Number, race, condition?"
Well, race definitely varies. A number, I have about 15 to 20 ready now, but can increase that pretty quickly if need be. This is sort of a buyer's market for you, coming to you now. If it wasn't, I don't know if I would have made such a long journey here. Not all of them are special, as it were, but a good number of them are. Of those 10 to 20 I mentioned, at least 10 of them have been trained like Melania here.
I see. When you mentioned such a low number, I became curious, but what kind of rate? Well, let me ask this. You say you can get more. At what rate do you believe you could supply these
Well, there are
slaves?
many that are already training right now. The question will be which of them succeed and which of them fail. And, learning to control the magic and all that.
You see the equivalent of a Yuan-Ti eyebrow raise.
Yeah.
They don't have proper eyebrows, but there's sort of a ridge that moves up.
There are definitely probably, it depends on what your interests are, but I think that I could have at least 20 more gifted ones by the end of the year.
Perhaps after we're done here, you could draft a description of what sort of training these have gone through.
I mean, I could give you an example if you'd like.
And you see her sort of raise her hands and show me.
I'm just gonna look at Clean. I'm not gonna tell her anything. Just kind of look and nod. Because I want to see what Clean would do if this happens.
I give you a very concerned look, like, what? I don't understand things that aren't directly stated. I'm bad at social skills.
Okay. Well,
Great slave.
maybe. I'm like, Melania, show her. Can you whip up a quick illusion, maybe, just to whet their appetite?
Let's see if I have that.
I'm looking at your spell sheet. I know you have minor illusion at least.
Yeah, but it's not on today. I have Phantasmal Killer.
No, minor illusion's a cantrip.
Yeah, you always know your cantrips.
Phantasmal Killer, though.
I'm not saying no yet.
What sort of minor illusion, my lord?
Let's just make us a vase with some nice flowers in it.
But what kind of flower?
Hesatal sort of glances from across the table and says, "Is this one shy or something?"
I mean, Melania has been by my side for a long time. She's not shy. She's just very obedient. As you can see, she can't do anything without a direct order. And then orchids would be great.
Alright, let's do that.
Okay.
I snap and say, I prefer to be thorough.
Alright, you sort of... Now let me see. You need a spellcasting focus for this. So, are you actually going for your wand, or are you trying to do something more slyly?
I'm Warcaster. I don't need...
Oh, you have Warcaster?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Alright, so yeah, you totally just do it. Hastal again, like eyebrows slightly raised, if you will. And then she looks back at you, Alistair, and says, "Why do you train your slaves in magic? Is that not somewhat dangerous?"
Well, I mean, as you've seen, the training doesn't just come with magic. It also comes with obedience training and all the like. Like I said, my slaves are not treated poorly, and so I trust that they will not, fight back, as it were. I've rescued many of them from much more dire situations.
Hmm.
And also, I can handle myself, and that's what these two are for.
And so Hestatal says to you, I see. You certainly wouldn't mind if I put this training to the test.
I'm not quite sure what you have in mind, but I'm sure we can work something out to prove the limits of it.
A simple order, which I promise will not damage your slave. I just want to
Well,
make
she
sure.
is trained to only follow my orders, but if you tell me, I can tell her to do it.
Okay. She sort of bobs her head towards Isley and says, have her give my companion over there a kiss. A nice, long, good one.
Only I had Vampire's Kiss. Why did I take that out of my spells?
How many spells do you have? Oh my god.
I changed it when I dropped a lot of the dark arts stuff.
Okay.
She's a wizard, Harry.
All right, Melania,
Snake. Tasty
Give-
snake lips.
Islis,
Isley.
a kiss. Isley, a kiss.
Good. Put on a shirt.
I make another minor illusion and blow a little kiss.
Come on, man. You,
With
JJ, you just need to be more
Um,
specific.
Hestatal sort of looks at you, Alistair, and says, I'm not impressed at the moment.
I say, that was good, Melania, but walk over there and give her a physical kiss with your physical body.
Give her a good weapon if she.
As you say, my love.
I'm giving you like a I'm sorry look with my eyes really hard.
It's okay. I'm into tentacle monsters. They're worse things, I guess. I'll go. I'll
Snakes are
approach
kind of like a tentacle.
slowly but confidently.
Alright,
With a
All
nice swag.
Seduce the snake.
Seduce.
alright, give me a performance check.
At 20. Don't even have to
Nat
roll.
20, son.
I should have said that my slaves follow Pretty Woman rules.
Okay. You go over, and as you're walking over, you're trying not to let it show on your face, but inside you think, just get it over with, just do this. But then some part of you is
I'm
reminding
probably
you
really torn,
that
honestly.
that you need to give them enough of a show. So you go over, and draw it out for a few seconds. Try not to wince. Steel yourself, and then sort of slink back over towards Alistair.
Okay,
Hestatal
dismissing this.
and Isley sort of look at each other. Isley says, I've seen worse.
Worse.
Hestatal sort of looks back at you, Alistair, and says, we might be interested. Do you have a price in mind? Dealing with the Yuan-Ti is a treacherous business. What
Can I,
brings you so far in search of us?
Can I make some sort of check to figure out what I think a slave is worth, like a normal average slave, so I can sort of price this out?
Sure, I guess, what would that be? History?
History, maybe? Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Now I have to kind of make this up.
That's
But,
fine.
so normal, average, just like laborer,
Yeah.
they might be, maybe 100 gold, maybe a bit more.
Okay.
Premium slave, like hundreds to thousands.
10,000.
Well,
I mean, so it varies widely, of course, depending on the condition. So,
yeah.
If it's an older person, if there's anything wrong with them, that's probably, I'd imagine you're probably not selling anyone for much less than 100 gold, but then add on top of that for any, for good condition, special features, that sort of thing.
Well, what I was thinking, honestly, is that I'm a little tired of the business, as it were, and this is sort of a going out of business sale. And yes, this was I have traveled a long way, but I've heard tale that you are both wise enough to understand what I have to offer and rich enough to pay for it. If you'd be willing to take the lot of them, which should come to a few, just over 100 over the next 2 years, I'd be willing to part with each of them for, say, 500 gold apiece.
She looks at you, says, "If you are coming in search of gold, can you not find that elsewhere?"
Well, I guess gold is a term here representing the value that I'm offering.
She draws back a little bit. I see. So, what is it that you had in mind then in terms of the actual payment method?
Well, I mean, this is my first time visiting the city of Vixeth. I'd really rather hear from you what you have to offer.
Rubies.
She looks you over. A seeker of novelties, then. Well, the most common goods that we barter are our stone carvings and jewelry. Also, some stone and metal tools. I'd be happy to show you a sampling.
I think that would be good. I also take things like gems, artifacts,
Magical items.
Different. I know that you are skilled in the ways of making poisons and potions, and all those things sell easier than slaves, to be honest. And that's really what this is about. It's just a liquidation issue.
I see. All right, then. I'm sure we can work something out. That being said, I am not at the top of my clan. I have a spending limit, if you will. And, well, a deal of this size, I will need to talk with some people. That being said...
Oh, of course.
That being said, a small trifle. I'm curious about something. You arrived to our city by the North Gate. One of our northern patrols failed to arrive back in the city last night. I'm curious. Did you happen to see or hear anything of them?
No, we were pretty much stumbling around blind.
Oh, sorry, you, roboted there pretty hardcore.
So, we were stumbling around blind last night.
Oh, still roboting.
Okay.
That's you.
Oh, wait, everyone.
We can hear him.
Here, bye.
Okay.
Yeah. Vindicated.
Okay, let's try this again. Can you hear me? Wait. Are you guys not hearing me? Talking. Low. Let me try this again. Reset. Okay. Hello? Hello, can you hear me now? Hi? Gosh. Hello?
We hear you.
Sizzle, what up?
I'm wondering if, I'm gonna do a quick speed test on my internet, because I'm
I think we
all of you guys' audio is just resting pepperonis for me right now.
It's weird how good his up sounds when he's roboting that hard.
There we go.
Yeah, you sound amazing. Crystal clear.
Sizzle.
Okay, I can hear you now. Whatever the problem was magically resolved itself. Alright. So,
Well,
the
while you were
slot.
gone, the snakes and I, we worked out a deal. Like, they're just gonna let us stay the night. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
chill.
She
It's
asked
the
you
Makes
about
sense. They said they would give us the crown as like a down payment, and then I bring the slaves back. So
Okay, yeah, perfect. We'll set that aside as an alternate universe and go back to the one where you were just asked about the Normandy Patrol. And did you happen to see or hear anything of them?
actually, last night we were stumbling around in the dark. I paid this one to help me navigate woods like these, pointing at Fallon. And I would have expected
wave.
that, our plan, we knew how to get in close. We didn't know exactly where your city was. But we thought if we got in close enough, some patrol would stumble upon us and we'd be able to, bribe a guard or two to bring us to the city. But lo and behold, we stumbled our way all the way to the gates this morning. Just kind of surprised I didn't run into anybody.
I see. Give me one more deception check.
Sure, I'm going to go ahead and take my Tides of Chaos here for advantage.
Am I wearing my snake medallions on the outside?
You never specifically said that.
I
So
did-
the
I know,
default
it's a
assumption
joke.
is that they're in your back.
Yeah.
Fallon
They
just
are.
has like 7 snake medallions like draped across his neck. Just fucking.
I stealthily just kind of like fill my pack, assuming I have it on me, and just like over the pack fill the medallions.
Okay. So
I like to also think that in this situation, that everybody is like, every time Alistair opens his mouth and just says like a really convincing lie, probably in a different voice because he's in character, that everyone's like, what? Did you guys know he could do this?
Remember when he just told everybody everything?
All right. So Hesital looks at you and says, "All right then. Well, as I said, a deal of this size is above what I can authorize. So it will take at least a few hours, I believe, for me to fetch my clan leader for approval. In the meantime, we'll be happy to put you up in this building."
That would be excellent. And I was wondering, do you have anything to eat?
I'm sure something can be arranged.
That would be excellent. We've traveled a long way.
Indeed, and she looks over at the two Yuan Ti at the steps.
Would I know anything about snake cuisine, where I could be like, hey, can we get some snake sliders? You know those little hamburgers you make.
I like to think he just says that, and then everyone looks at him like, what are you talking about? You crazy person.
I mean, honestly,
You ever had
they're
crocodile?
I mean, you have been in the city before. Think like if you want to talk about a real world cuisine that most directly translates, think like South American. So lots of fruits
Do
like
you have any street corn? Tapas.
street corn. I love it.
Churros.
I need to. Or you know what? I'll just do it like this.
Meatos.
She looks over at
Chick-fil-A.
the Yuan Ti at the steps and says, says, Manuya, can you please get them some food and try to attend to their preferences as best you can? And then Hesital looks back at you and says, I'll be off. We will come fetch you when we're ready. And she leaves the room. The three Yuan Ti who are outside the door sort of come inside the door. There's sort of a male and a female Yuan Ti at the steps. The female sort of goes into one of the back rooms, and the male one says, if you'll follow me, I'll show you to your rooms while you wait.
All right.
Yeah, we follow.
Okay. He takes you upstairs. The upstairs.
Do I have a mental timer, by the way? Because I'm keeping concentration on this invisibility spell.
Yeah, you will know when it goes off.
But I don't know about how much time. Well, I might have an idea.
I mean, you will have an idea how much time.
Okay.
I mean, you know what? I'm okay with making this like the times coincide on this, so you know that there are about 20 minutes left on your
Okay.
Sounds
good.
All right. So yeah, you're taken upstairs. The upstairs is just a single hallway with 6 rooms. So 3 to the left, 3 to the right. You are taken to the center 2 rooms, which, as you open them up, one sort of has a couple beds and a small table with a few chairs. The other has a larger desk with chairs around it. And the Yuan-Ti who's guiding you says, "You may feel free to use these rooms as you wish." Okay.
All right.
So with that, we will go back to Kane as you come up to the 3rd level of the temple.
Hey, we're all there. We did it.
Yeah, not quite.
It's like there's some
Magical
unintended
teleportation
consequence.
time. Woo.
Boss fight.
I put you all on every map just because it was possible that you could all get here. So, all right. So you come up the stairs. Wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. And when you get up, you immediately see actually quite a bit as you get towards the top. So let me start revealing some things. So first of all, here is the stairway that you came up. And as you look into this room, you see a large central area. Mostly pretty spare, actually. It just looks like some sort of gathering hall. So you see some doors. You see another stairwell that goes up. Or actually, wait a minute. No, because I'm sorry. I made a few edits to some of these maps. So I need to make sure. Okay, yeah, that's fine. All right, cool. Yeah, so you do see another stairwell that goes up yet another level over here. And you see 4 doors. And the creatures that are in this room are sort of like more rotted looking, if you will, Yuan-Ti. So these are Yuan-Ti mummies, basically. There is also a bit of a snake altar thingy going on right here.
Is there a crown at the altar?
No, there is not.
Fuck.
What do the little red things indicate? Are those doors?
Yeah.
Okay.
And both stairways lead down. See at the top?
Well, so he came up one stairway, and then the next one leads up. And I just realized that I also messed another thing up.
This door. What's inside that?
Okay, yeah, just a second. I realized that I forgot to edit something on this map, so I'm just going to do a quick ghetto edit.
How dare you fail to fully
Ghetto
prepare?
style.
Change your name to Dice Lord.
I'm doing too many other things, man. Oh, whatever. I'm not going to try to fix that. All right. So yeah, so you go over to that door, and yeah, give me perception. And no, you did not actually figure out your mom's name, Fallon.
What?
Damn it.
Oh, sorry. I guess you whispered, but anyways.
I thought you were still talking to me. I was
Yep.
like, yes, I did. What?
All right. Yeah, give me perception, Kane.
Boom! Look at that. Perception.
You hear a faint shuffling sound from behind the door.
Shuffling or chuckling?
Shuffling.
Valinda.
Okay.
Valina. How about that?
So there's some living thing behind the door, but it's hard to say what. Looking at the door, it does clearly have a lock on it, I will say.
Okay, actually, real quick. Do any of these doors look like important doors? Like something important is behind them?
Yeah, so actually, good point. Looking at them, they are considerably more sturdy looking. They also are decorated, once again, as with everything that's in here, it's like snake motifs around the frame, sort of like one snake eating another all the way around the edge. There's some gold inlay on parts of the door, gold and silver inlay. These doors, at this level, the doors look significantly more like important, if you will, than the other levels that you've been on.
And they all have locks on them?
Yes.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Magical lock picking.
You're going for
Activate.
Yeah.
it? Okay. Go ahead and give me thieves' tools.
I would pick this lock.
And
What if I
also
just-
give me sleight of hand for how quietly you do this.
Alright, I'll do sleight of hand first. And then thieves.
Okay. You mess around with the lock for a moment. You're not having any luck popping this lock open. It's the just the mechanics of this lock seem to be significantly more complex. Hard to tell if it might also have some kind of spell on it. That being said, you do manage to do it fairly quietly, so at least you don't disturb anything.
That door attack.
Okay, are we just going through the same pattern? Just like listen.
Nah, I'm just gonna pick the lock and pick the lock.
Okay, so thieves' tools and sleight of hand once again. Okay. Let me think about this.
No, I'm not open the door yet. I'm just picking the lock.
Okay, yeah, you do hear a very soft click. You feel your thieves' tool sort of wedge into just the right place, and you know that you have this door if you want it.
And then I put my ear. While I'm doing this, I'm gonna listen to see if there's anything inside.
Okay, give me perception.
Okay.
Where is... I have somewhere in my notes.
Fuck. Shit.
Okay, yeah. You think you hear some kind of breathing, but you can't tell beyond that.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I'm gonna, like, kind of push the door and then back up to, like, the middle of the room.
Okay, you're just like letting it swing open and then backing up. All right. So you do that. Go ahead and give me. Well, actually, okay, yeah. So you get a quick view of the inside of the room. It appears to be a living quarters. The creature that you see inside is definitely a yuan-ti. Is the snakes for arms variety. Wears sort of an ornate. What's the word that I'm looking for?
Medallion.
Oh, here. Let me just blow him up real quick.
Are they wearing a crown?
So, this is what he looks like. Okay,
It looks like he's wearing a crown to me.
So, behold the art. All right. So, no, not wearing a crown.
Oh, fuck this guy. I'm out.
But, yeah, so just sort of sitting, leaning back in a chair, you apparently caught him, like, in thought. But as the door swings open and you start to back up, you see his eyes spring open. Go ahead and back up as far as you want because you notice that he gets up and starts to walk towards the door. Okay.
I'm there.
He steps outside the door. You see him scan around the room. Give me... Actually, you know what? I'm going to make this a contest. Give me stealth once again. This is just for being absolutely still while someone's trying to detect your presence.
21! Winner, chicken dinner.
Okay. You don't even know how close that was.
You can tell me. I don't mind.
Well, I rolled a 20 for his perception. Not a nat
But he
20.
has a +0?
Not a nat 20,
Okay.
but yeah, like
Woo!
total 20. Okay. So you see him slowly scan across the room. and then let me see here. Goes back to the door. At any point, if you want to like start wandering off to do anything else, let me
Oh, I
know.
was saying, so the other doors look the same as his door, right?
Yes.
All right, go up steps.
Okay. As you leave, you see him sort of wander back to his door and start like messing around with it, like trying to see if anything's odd about it. Okay, so let me see. All of that probably didn't actually take that long. I'm going to say that you are at. Let me see. Come up. Do that. Yeah, that's only a minute. You're at 19 minutes. Okay. So you go up to the next level. Let me prepare the next level. Doo-doo-doo.
Oh, hey, there's a passage there. Whatever. Too late. I already did. No going back.
All right. And you're going to come up here, there. Everybody else is not here. All right. So here is the next level.
I would have thought the goblin escape would have caused more ruckus.
Well, they weren't armed or anything. And there were guys around. Okay, so you come up into a very short hallway that just exits directly onto the terrace.
Wait, that's it?
It's solid walls, otherwise. Now, again, it's like a terrace. You can wander around outside, and there might be other entrances. But, okay. I'll go and reveal this side then. And you do, in fact, see an opening over there.
Oh, too fast.
Okay, and as you look inside here,
How high up am I?
so you're on the 4th floor about now, which means they're probably fairly tall floors actually. So you're maybe like 30 feet up,
30 feet. What?
maybe a bit less than that. But yeah, like from the ground, because you're 3 floors above ground floor.
Okay.
So yeah, you look in here. The beds are kind of like unfortunate, honestly, given what I intend this to be, but I didn't want to edit the map. So this room appears to be, I mean, just sort of like a waiting room almost. And you see actually 2 UNT inside. Actually, if you're going in that far, give me a stealth check.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. The TUNT just sort of seem to be sitting there, looking around, basically. These are both the variety that are sort of similar to the one that you saw down where the goblins were being held. They're basically snake-headed. And yeah, and also I should describe, they are wearing like, this shows them like basically naked.
No.
But actually, they're wearing somewhat more like ornate clothing. They've got like the medallion thing going on. They've got some definite like gold trim, and again, more like ornate designs in their clothing. You also do see like scimitars hanging at their sides. The door that you see on the other side looks very solid, actually. And again, seems to be of the same variety as the ones on the floor that you just came from. It's a little bit more slender, but it seems extremely sturdy.
Are those stairs at the outside? Am I at the top of the pyramid now?
No, but when you were out on the terrace, you could, you passed by the stairs at the top. Those lead directly to what appears to be some kind of summit. So you're on the top floor that actually like has an inside.
Okay. And I have like 18 minutes, like we can say at this point. I'm gonna wait a solid 3 to 4 minutes, maybe, to see if that door opens and try to slip in behind anyone that goes in that door.
Okay, by the way, for the record, just so that you can see it, the top of the temple looks something like this, except without all the view there. So just,
But is there a crown there?
I mean, in just casually walking by, you didn't see it, but, so just so you have some idea generically what that looks like. Okay, but you are here, so yeah, you're just, let me see here. Waiting for a few minutes. Okay, yeah. You wait there for how many minutes did you want to wait?
3 to 4 at max.
Okay, so you wait until it's basically 15 minutes on the timer. Nothing really happens.
Fuck shit. Okay. I'm gonna keep walking around to see if there's other places.
All right.
Habooski.
Oh, did I not? Crying out loud. I gotta make one more ghetto edit.
Ghetto edits are the best kind of edits.
All right, there we go. All right, cool. Yeah. So here's the side of the building. No entrances there.
Yeah.
All right, so this side. So there's a solid wall there. I edited away a door, but over here, the red bar is actually a door. Again, one of the more well-made ones, and there appear to be two basilisks that are sort of on long chains by the door.
Does Kane know what a basilisk is?
Well, you fought one, so that's why I'm kind of giving
We
it to
did?
you. Yeah.
How do we find a basilisk?
Back in
Think they
Tindos.
Petrified or something?
It was in Tindos. When you were like
Wait,
underground in
Kane-
that person's house.
Kane wasn't there.
Oh, that's right. Kane wasn't there. All right, fine. Give me nature.
Oh, how soon we forget.
This is gonna be good.
Kane had a date that night.
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, you see two big, scary lizard-looking things.
I think you should sneak by.
Okay.
Professional opinion.
So, and also, I will say, this door, even though it's just a red box, this particular door is actually like impressive. The entire front part of the door seems to have been inlaid with precious metals, and you're not quite sure what to make of it, but it almost looks like I don't want to say a mural, but it looks like the front of the door is almost telling some sort of story towards the bottom of the door. You see depictions of the Yuan-Ti purebloods doing various tasks. Above it, you see the Malazans, the more snake-like ones. From there, you see sort of three branches. Two coming from either side. One depicts what the rest of the party knows to be the Nightmare Speakers. The other arm depicts a group that looks like that guy who ran out of the room towards you, who had the bundles of snakes for arms. And then the middle one, which comes up to the top, and finally ends in just a giant, fierce-looking, like, sort of actual snake with many heads. And has depictions, such as a crown and a rod by that, or like a scepter. Not the scepter of command. But anyways, this door is like highly decorated, also at a glance, extremely sturdy looking.
All right. I have rations. I have rations.
Okay.
So that sounds really dumb, but I have rations. Yeah. I'm gonna take some rations, and I'm gonna toss him to like over here around the corner.
Okay. Yeah, you do that. Let me see here. I'll do it like this. Basilisk, where are you? The basilisk, like on the far side, sort of turns and looks at it, but then just turns its head back and remains where it's at.
Fucking shit! How much space is between them?
It's just like a bit over 5 feet for the door. That being said, as you stand here, at this point, you do hear the faint sound of footsteps coming around from the other side. So, and are you waiting there for the footsteps to come around?
I'm a. How is there like a lip here? Like how tall is this like these stairwells here?
It goes up like almost 10 feet to the next story.
Well, I'll stay where I am.
Okay.
See what happens.
All right. So eventually around the corner, you see another one of these guys who comes up, and as he approaches the basilisk, you hear him say a few words that you don't understand. I'm pretty sure you don't speak Draconic, right?
Let me see.
What? Oh,
Said,
let me see.
No.
All right. Yeah, you hear him say a few words in a language you don't understand, and then the basilisks sort of like drop their heads and look towards the floor. He comes up right in between them, knocks on the door. You hear faintly the sound of something approaching said door. And then after a moment, the door opens, and you hear from the other side, and you hear him say, let me think here. No, you hear from the other side, "What is it?" And then the guy outside says, "Lady Visaya, report from the lower levels. It has just come to my attention that a variety of gold and jewels that we were storing on the second floor has mysteriously gone missing." But, yes, and that's not all. There was an unexplained break of the goblins who were being held in the cells on that floor. A number of them were killed in the escape attempt. We finally managed to capture the last one. Did you keep the chief alive? And actually, I got to check for that. Yes, we
Rip
were able to stabilize him after one of the brood guards almost killed him. Good. It would be your head if we lost the information that one was carrying. You hear a slight gulping sound. It says, "Well, yes. Anyways, we wanted to let you know that we think
Is he just talking through the door?
they're having a conversation with these other. Yeah, he's standing just outside the door, and there's apparently
Is it
someone.
closed?
Well, actually, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do for you. You can kind of see.
So the door is open.
Or actually, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna reveal. Give you this much.
What the fuck is that?
It is a very large snake, very snake-looking person.
Is there even room for me to get by if I wanted to?
It'd be really tight. It'd be risky to try to slip by.
I don't want to.
You could maybe do it. This person, or you now take to be Lady Visaya, doesn't fill the entire door, but you'd have to like squeeze up against the wall and slip through.
Okay, question. Should have a levitate spell.
Okay.
Is there like a duration to it?
I think it's like 10 minutes. Yeah, there is a duration.
Oh, I guess it's just levitate. Normal levitate spell. I can just look up levitate and see what it is. Can't I?
Yeah. But I almost have it. It's 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yep. But then you hear her say,
How much?
Oh, go ahead.
How much space? So I'm assuming it's like a bunch of snake body
Yep.
that's really thick, and then, but how much room above that?
Right. I mean, so it's just like a slightly larger than normal doorway. You'd maybe have like about a foot on each side to try to squeeze through. If you went like all the way to the top, you might be able to up that just a little bit if you like tried to like float through. So basically, I'll say mechanically, it's gonna be an acrobatics check either way to try to squeeze through without like bumping. But it'll be like an easier check if you like float through.
I'm gonna try to float through.
Okay, interesting. So this conversation is going on. You go ahead and activate your levitate ability. First of all, I need
Huh?
a stealth check without advantage.
Oh shit! Dang it! Wait, what? Okay.
You lose your invisibility.
Oh, wait a minute. No, it's not a spell though. It's just his racial ability.
Yeah. I can just do it.
Let me double check whether the language. I as long as, and I'll let you like go back and not do this actually if this is a problem. But so the question is, I'm actually just gonna go with the actual wording of this. So just like, does it give you the ability to cast the spell, or is it just like an innate thing that you can do?
It's go with the wind. You can cast the levitate spell once with this trait, require no material components, and you're gaining the ability to cast it this way when you finish a long rest.
Yeah. Okay. So no, you will lose invisibility if you try to do this. But I'm
Can I
not
try
going to
to-
lock you into it because I
Wait,
forgot
I
that too.
can try and jump though, right? I can jump it. I can just jump right.
I mean, yeah, you can try to get
I
through
can
that way.
Vault caster.
I mean, it's very crowded though. It will still be an acrobatics check.
I'm gonna go for it.
All right, I'm closing my eyes while I think of how difficult this actually is for you. Oof.
Wait, no, hold on. Should I jump or try to squeeze fast?
I mean, it's gonna be the same difficulty for any of this.
Oh. Well, then I'll do jumping because it's cooler. If it's the same difficulty either way.
Okay, it is very crowded. All right, go ahead and give me your acrobatics check. All right, you step back. Oh, and give me a stealth check to see if you can do this silently.
17.
All right, I gotta look up a thing.
Oh my god, I won't chirp with that.
Okay. You step back. You quietly let out a breath and then hold. And then just ghost across the steps. Take a quick running leap, sort of turning your body as you go through. And then try to very quietly just sort of roll onto the ground. You feel sort of a very faint gust of wind sort of hold you up and gently drop you onto the floor. And as you listen, the conversation between these two actually continues. You seem to have gotten through. So I'll go ahead and reveal this entire area. Wow, that's insane that you actually made that. Okay, so you can basically position yourself wherever you want in this room.
Is there a fucking crown?
Give me perception to investigate the room. So the conversation is continuing between these two, by the way, as you look. Basically, I'll just say the gist of the conversation is like, it sounds like somebody's like, did somebody steal the stuff? Is somebody like somehow in without us noticing? Blah blah blah. Gather up some people, look around, etc., etc. Okay, you look around the room. There's sort of a desk down here, a table up here that has a few like jars and with some strange like liquids in them. A few like leaves set out. There's like a mortar and pestle where something's being crushed up. There is over here is just a shelf with a lot of, again, more like chemistry set, if you will, looking components. Or actually, you know what? You see, that's the thing. Just because I went with the base art, this doesn't have like everything I want. So actually, I'm gonna say right here is actually like, so kind of like this is actually a large bed. It's not perfect, but I'll just roll with it. And then down here is like the shelf, like I was talking about before. There's a desk with like a nice looking pen, like a few books laid out. And then there is another door right here.
Okay, but nothing, no like lock boxes or anything, or
Not that you have noticed.
okay. I'm gonna listen to this door real quick.
All right, give me a perception. Oh, you don't hear anything.
Did I roll?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that was your check. Go ahead, roll.
Wait, where'd it go?
Oh, that was your search the room check, right?
There it is. Where were you when I need to search the room? Fucking 19.
Oh, I haven't seen your roll yet. Okay.
Oh,
23. Okay. You still don't hear anything.
Okay, cool. Skirt?
Oh, you're going for the door?
Yeah.
All right. Give me thieves' tools because it is locked once again, and give me sleight of hand. Okay. Well, shit. All right. You are the most silent door opener ever. First of all, you open this up and you see basically a library. And again, like I wish the stuff on the floor was better, but I didn't want to go to the effort of like adding lots of icons and stuff. So you see multiple bookshelves, a lot of very old things, some like piles of just parchment, and a couple scrolls sort of jammed in different places. You also see a sort of a desk with a few shelves under it that have like obvious locks on a few drawers.
I am searching this place for the crown.
Okay, give me, let me see here. So it's actually, so you can see everything in here easily enough. So it is going to be investigation to sort of search through here.
Where's
Okay.
that crown, Casey? Where's the fucking
Hacking
crown?
tools, Kane. Hacking tools.
Where's this fucking crown?
You hack and roll 20.
So you, like, your specialty wasn't being a thief, but that doesn't mean that you didn't learn some things, and you apply it all to perfection to basically like slice and dice this room. So I'm going to give you a pretty complete rundown of what's here. You sort of search through the books. There appear to be some on magical rituals, some appear to be historical records, some on spells. You do find 2 spell scrolls if you would like to take them.
I'm gonna leave them for now.
Okay.
I want to leave this place as undisturbed looking as possible.
All right, cool.
Unless there's a fucking crown, because I'm taking that shit.
Maybe one was a scroll of invisibility.
Let me see
No, I
here.
wouldn't be to cast it anyway. I fucking rogue.
On the desk, you find
A gleaming crown.
a bunch of
gleaming crown.
notes.
Fuck.
With a lot of names listed on them, and a description of what appear to be Yuan-Ti agents who have been inserted various places outside the town. And I actually have to look something up real quick. Where is? Oh yeah.
I guess to figure out how much a crown weighs.
And you would like sort of overlook this list of names, but something catches your eye. One of the names that you notice on the list, you see that some random Yuan-Ti name. Actually, I'll go ahead and give you a Yuan-Ti name. Let's go with Mesli. But next to it, you sort of quickly gather that this is somebody who seems to have been actually either murdered or kidnapped or something like that, and been replaced with a Yuan-Ti who is impersonating them. And the name that you see is Repetizar Pulisarlin, which that name may or may not mean something to you. But you once upon a time, when you hadn't really done anything for the Adder's Fang, and you got your first big job, it may have involved this name.
I will lock that into my library, type it in my notes, and save it, and look for this and find this goddamn crown.
All right. The other thing that you find laid out on the desk next to that is a and let me think about this. You do hold on.
Casey, give me all the Easter eggs.
You do also see a book on various methods for basically magically securing objects that's laid out on the desk.
Magically securing objects?
Yeah.
What do you mean? What is that? What?
I don't know. I will say, I mean, so just like if you wanted to hide something away, or make it so that it was very difficult for people other than you to access it, then it's like
That's
spells and rituals for doing that.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
I will say.
Alone.
Oh, okay.
Wait.
You don't see a crown, for the
Is
record.
it open? Open. Is it already open? Does it happen to be open?
It's lying closed on the desk.
Are there any like bookmarks or anything?
Not that you see.
Anything that's been done to it? Can I go and just like flip through some of the pages? Anything in there by someone else?
Okay, yeah. So it's going to be sort of tricky to figure out because it's just sort of like judging by the wear pattern. But Give me another investigation.
No, I can't use a natural 20.
Okay. Yeah, you sort of pick up the book and just see if there's a place that it naturally falls open to, like it's been used a lot for something. And basically, no way of being sure, but the spell that you see described here is basically something that can be applied to sort of anything with a lock on it, or like a secret hideaway of some kind. And basically, it describes how to set something to open to a verbal passphrase.
Fuck. That would have been a great idea. The Wand of Secrets would have been so good right now.
So at this point, you hear voices from outside the door where you slipped in,
For the
saying,
record, I like had to like didn't fully close that door, but tried to close as much as possible,
mhm.
so it would look closed behind me.
Okay. Well, you do hear voices from outside now saying, "All right, I will wait here then. Go and gather up the clan and search the temple top to bottom and the grounds." Yes, Lady Visaya. So if you want to try to slip out, now's your chance. Or if you want to remain, this conversation is ending.
How long I got my invisibility?
All right, let me see here. You have 12 minutes of invisibility left.
Okay. I'm staying inside.
Okay.
And I'm going to, while they're talking, just kind of whisper that phrase the guy said to the basilisk.
Well, you have to remember it first, so give me
It
intelligence.
was a minute ago.
Yeah, but you don't know Draconic, so you might not be able to remember a couple random Draconic words because they don't mean anything to you.
I'm regretting putting my dump in intelligence so much.
You don't remember. Okay, so you're staying
There
there.
were some
You
locked
hear
drawers, right?
what?
You said there were some locked drawers, right?
Well, you wait, locked doors?
Drawers.
Oh, drawers. Yes, there are.
But you guys hear what you're gonna say.
Okay. You hear the sound of the door close, retreating footfalls, and so you're, I think, like over here somewhere. And you hear sort of the sigh of an extremely large snake person from the other side of the door. And then you hear Lady Visaya say to herself, "Perhaps it's time to reassert myself once again." You hear the sound of her approaching where you're at, and you tense up for just a moment, but then she stops approaching. And then you hear the scraping sound of one of the floor tiles. And then you hear her say, "Fairwald's Bane."
Oh shit! I'm gonna go peeking. I'm peeking.
All right, give me stealth.
To peek through the door?
Oh, because you have to open it a little bit.
Oh yeah, I do. All right, hold on. Let's go.
Okay. Yep. And you hear a bit of a click sound. You hear the creaking of metal, and then you watch as she reaches down and pulls out a shimmering gold crown with a few sapphires laid in around the outside.
Okay, one second. What do I know about this crown again?
What do you know about it?
Yeah, like it's magical properties.
You've never had the magical properties thoroughly explained to you. But it's called the Crown of Allure. So you can
Do
sort
you
of
not
guess.
remember what's his name told us?
No.
I'm not helping you. So
Okay, I
you
being
watch.
yelled at in chat, so I'm just like concerned that I forgot something.
You watch on as she picks it up.
Hold on.
What's
What-
happening?
What are you saying, Kane?
Hold on.
Hold on for what?
I'm thinking. While she's
Casey,
doing this with the crown, I'm thinking of
Casey's ready
doing
to.
something.
You have 10 seconds to tell me.
Fuck. Casey, why? What does this inspiration thing do again?
Gives you
I can't-
advantage on a roll.
Advantage on a roll.
Yep.
Okay.
Can someone else tell him what's up? Or does it just have to happen?
And you watch on as she sort of turns towards a mirror in the room and settles the crown on her head.
Alright.
Say what you're gonna say.
Are these other doors open? Is either one of the other two doors open right now? Are they both closed?
They're both closed.
Do they seem to be easy to open?
I mean, they seem to be pretty well made from what you could tell. And as you're scanning around the room and thinking of what you're gonna do, you watch as she settles the crown on her head, and immediately, let me see here. You are considered charmed by Lady Visaya for the next 24 hours.
God damn it, Kane.
I feel like I gave you ample opportunity.
But I was thinking, should I try to just snatch it out of her hand or not?
Do you not remember us getting the mirrors from the dragon and all that talk?
Okay. I forgot about why we had mirrors.
So
Do I have the mirrors in my inventory?
specifically, here is the relevant bit of text. So this is an excerpt from the rules text for the Crown of Allure. So you suddenly feel overwhelmed with the majesty, beauty, and power of Lady Visaya, and you settle down where you're at. What? What?
Is there a save for this? Anything?
No, saveless. And as the next few minutes go by, you just sort of look on, and then you see Lady Visaya sort of turn towards the doorway and see it slightly ajar. And she swings it open, bumping into your leg, actually, as that happens. You back up a bit.
As she approaches the door, I would back away from the door.
No, you don't. Well, you back away a little bit.
I can't back away from the door?
Yeah, I mean, you back away from the door to make room for the door to open. But then she looks into the room and says, "Is someone there?"
Can I not say anything?
You now regard Lady Visaya as the most excellent creature in all of existence.
True, but
Truly someone worthy of your admiration and loyalty.
Well, yes, but I mean, I still know that I'm supposed to stay hidden here.
He's so awestruck.
I feel like I should just get a roll here.
She walks in, she reaches out with a hand and lays it on your shoulder.
Well, fuck. I don't. Okay.
and says, "Do cease this silly game."
Okay, hold on. I feel like just because I hold her admiration, I also know staying hidden was my main objective here.
Does that matter when such a perfect creature is? I'm narrating over you at this point. And at this point, you sort of what? She says, "Oh, it seems that perhaps you are not the one who made you invisible in the first place. Well, we shall have to do something about this. In the meantime, just keep a hold of my hand." And she guides you into the adjacent room, opens the door, and says, and just waits there for a few minutes, saying, "We have a new friend. He should be appearing shortly." And about 10 minutes go by, and then you wink into visibility. Alistair, you feel the effect of your spell end. And she says to the two guards who are here, "Oh,
Just one quick. I only bring this up one more time just because it says they have advantage on ability checks to interact socially with the creature, right? So would that be persuasion?
that's the
stuff?
normal rules for Charmed. This is a specific charm effect
Okay.
that basically turns you into a friendly for the person wearing the Crown of Lure. That's how it works. Because you laid eyes upon her while she was wearing it. And she tells the two guards in the room, "Do make our friend comfortable and secure. I believe he may not be alone." And with that, we are going to cut back to everybody else.
Yay, us.
Kane's gonna spill the beans about everything now.
So, you're all sitting in this upstairs room. Alistair, about 20 minutes go by from where we left off, and you feel the invisibility effect lapse. So right now, there's nobody really interacting with you. You don't necessarily, know what's going on. But do you want to do anything?
Are we
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we alone in the room?
You appear to be alone. And you have two rooms that were sort of given to you. Actually, I take that back. The Yuan Ti who led you up sort of remains at the end of the hall. One of the Malazans. So he goes to one end of the hall, all the way down. One of the Malazans who escorted you over here in the first place walks up and takes a post at the other end of the hallway. But there doesn't appear to be anybody else on the floor.
Okay. I'm trying to think of a clever way to do this.
And let me just say, if at any point you want to just wait, that's fine. But I'm giving you guys time to chat about things, to do things if you want to,
You guys can help me, maybe as a group roleplay this moment, but basically, Alistair, in character, says something about someone he knows being late. So I'm just kind of yeah. I'm glad I replaced that last one with you, Fowlin. He was always late, never on time for anything.
So hold on, are there snake people around us, and that's why you're doing this? Did I miss that?
There's one at either end of the hallway. You can go into some small rooms that appear to be private.
Yeah.
You remember him? I don't know. Blue guy. It was a very strange man. Anyway, this food though. These snake sliders. Very delicious.
Right. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Crap. How long do you think we have before we need to make a deal?
There's really no telling. I mean, this is sort of on their timetable now. I'm hoping that our contact will reach out to us soon.
Right. Crap.
So is this happening after I was captured?
You're all robots to me now.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Sending is like in my head, right?
Yeah. I mean, so if Alistair sends you a message, you might get it. We'll see.
Are you asking if you sending stone to us? I think a sending stone is something you pull out and like use. Obviously, like it is mental, but you still have to like pull out the stone and.
Yeah, he could receive a message more easily than that, I would say, though. Anyways.
So, like, if I were to try
Well,
to
hold on, Kane. You're not here. They're talking. I want to sort
Yeah.
of shift away from you.
Well, Fallon heard robots, so seeing if he can
Oh.
come back.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead and ask your question then, Kane.
So I could like stick a hand in a pocket and use it.
It's theoretically possible. But again, at this point, I am going to vastly limit your ability to actually say what you're doing based on the fact that you're under a powerful charm effect.
Well, no, I got an idea. I will let the if you let me.
Yeah, that's fine. I just again, I'm taking a pretty. You know what? Let me actually change the rule here because this makes it better. So I just got rid of the word directly from my original rule. Basically, you can't do anything that you think would be harmful to the object of your admiration. Here, let me.
Okay, we're good now.
We're good now? All right, cool.
Yeah, sorry, suddenly it works.
I mean, that was pretty much all I had. After that, Alistair's basically going to end up waiting again. But
did you send a message to him or no?
No, because yeah, that's for replying. We're still waiting for him, and if he got caught, we don't know who has his stone. So
we should plant the other one on a guard.
Well, we don't know he got caught. If he responds to us, maybe.
Yeah, sorry. You should send him a message that says, give us a password if you're okay.
No, because we can't send anything back then. It'd be over. The way that Alistair's thinking about it is he has to wait for contact.
Right, but if you say send us the password if you're okay, we didn't come up with one, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody does send a password, we'd know that it was the sending stone was taken by someone. I guess we hear it, right? So I guess we'd have to hear his voice. But either way, oh, never mind. Plan fail. Never mind. I just don't see a situation where he doesn't, just knowing what we really know outside of characters is I don't see how he's not gonna tell all.
Oh, he probably will.
I'm communicating with Kane briefly.
I'm so sleepy, Casey.
Oh, I see. Well, we're almost done.
Okay.
Although I do. Do you want me to just narrate that then, Kane?
Yeah.
All right. So Kane, what you do is you do take it out and do what you just said. Kind of obvious about it. And at this point, the guards who are... Well, actually, wait a minute. Let me take that back. No, they don't do that. The guards watch on as you do this, but they don't know what you said. Alistair, you get the following message from Kane. Hey guys, I found the crown, but the person who has it really deserves it. Y'all can go home.
Okay. I just kind of look to.
Robot again.
I pull out the stone from my pocket, and I don't reply, but I kind of show it to the rest of the group and kind of shake my head and no bueno.
Fallon, did you hear that at all? Or are you still?
He pulled a stone out of his pocket and shook his head.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's your audio.
that's exactly it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I showed you guys the stone.
Did you hear the original message that Alistair got?
I did. It went.
Okay,
It
yeah.
was okay right before then. It kind of roboted. Should we just, take our business elsewhere?
It would be rude to leave now. I suppose we should at least wait for.
It might be healthy. I don't know.
I appreciate you looking out for my well-being. Let's give it a little bit longer and see if they come back with a deal.
Okay. An hour passes. Would you want to do anything after waiting for an hour with nothing really happening? Still just waiting. I'm just making sure. I don't want to
I know.
move past before you guys have a chance to.
So hold on, real quick. I can't hear anybody very well, but does Hillel still have the Scepter of Command?
Yes.
So if he has that, maybe we should just scepter our way to the crown. Fallon,
I mean, you can discuss this in character.
If Hillel still has that, magic rod he took from me.
Remember, there's a guy at the end of the hall from us, which is why I'm still speaking in code.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'll say.
I mean, yeah. Again, if you spoke in quiet voices inside one of the rooms, maybe they don't hear you. But maybe it's prudent to speak in code too. Go ahead.
Okay.
And also, possibly they have the room's bugged.
Okay. I can hear people again. Fallon says, well, perhaps we use a rod for a hat. Wink, wink. No.
In that hour, I'm kind of playing around with the dancing lights spell.
Okay.
And I basically trying to kind of spell out sort of what happened. Like, I have a blue light, and I have it surrounded by 3 green lights. And, like, I'm doing it as if I'm absent-mindedly doing it, but I'm trying to gesture, like, that Kane has been
Take a look at
compromised by some green snake people. I can give you a performance if you want for how good I make my magic.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm getting a lot of whispers right now, so my attention's a little bit divided.
Whispers.
Okay, I'm sorry. What are you trying to do? You're trying to just like spell out what happened for everybody?
Yeah, in the hour that we're waiting. So basically, like, yeah, I like have some dancing light spells, and I'm kind of making them look a little random. But every now and then, I turn 1 blue and 3 green, and have the 3 green like surround the blue one.
Can you do shadow puppets on the wall? Can we go in a room and do shadow puppets on the? They won't.
Well, I
they
have
can't hear
mage hand,
that.
which is my next thing. I was gonna have it start writing letters on people's backs, but that's a lot harder.
All right. So what I'm gonna say is, everybody else, give me an intelligence check to interpret Alistair's message.
Just straight in.
I imagine I'm using like the holophoner from Futurama.
Okay, yeah.
Hell yeah.
You after 1 or 2 or 3 times of him doing this, you all get the picture.
And I say, Hillel, maybe we'll have time to go fishing with your fishing rod. and maybe we'll catch something that we want to catch. Hello.
I give like a death glare to Fallon.
Just
Fallon,
gonna give a
why
blank
are you
stare
speaking
back.
so weirdly? Your emphasis is all over the place.
Quiet, slave.
Oh, right. Okay.
I feel like I'm using pretty good code here. Take the fishing rod, fish and catch what we want to catch, and no one gets to roll to understand what I'm saying. Hello.
I mean, I
It's
think it's reasonably clear. I'm like allowing that
The internet.
they get it.
Like, I understand his light signals, but I don't understand your spoken wordplay.
I keep trying to explain it to Hillel since he gave me a blank look. And I'm
And
using hand gestures. Take the fishing rod, catch what we something good.
You're like, when are those guys gonna come and let us have another conversation?
Is this going somewhere? I'm just.
I guess not.
I mean, that was the first hour. I guess we can
Well,
go hour by hour if we're
If
gonna stay
Hillel
there.
doesn't
Mannequin. I talked to Mannequin Hillel, and nothing
I
happened.
don't know what
It's
to say.
green, but it's
It
not
just sounds
blue.
stupid.
Oh no! Oh no!
Right.
All right. So
Fallon leaves.
another hour goes by, and then I want everybody to give me a perception check.
I always
Oh,
forget that I'm proficient in
Oh.
perception.
Clean. All right. Let me.
what's in my alpha I see?
My +2.
Oh yeah,
proficient
Gamork can.
perception bonus.
Oh yeah, Gamork did do this. All right, cool.
I didn't do this for Gamork yet.
Oh yeah, do it for Gamork.
Go, Wolfie, go.
What do you want I see? Fuck.
He's exactly as good as me.
He's sleepy. They didn't even ask about our dog. Silly snake people.
All right, there
Maybe
we
they
go.
can't see dogs.
That's the trick.
So Colleen,
Then what-
you so you're all sitting in a room right now. You hear two sounds. You hear a faint click from the door, and you hear a faint thunk on the stone wall behind you. Give me an investigation check.
All of us, or just clean?
Just Colleen.
All right.
Oh snap! You okay?
Hold on. I'm gonna try to give her a bonus to that. I assume that fails, right?
I don't even
probably.
see anything.
All right. She has an 8 this time.
Okay. So yeah, so you hear these sounds, and then you sort of glance around the room, trying to figure out what caused this, and you can't quite see it.
I sort of grab Fallon loosely. I think we're locked in.
Need a perception check for Gamork.
Okay, another one.
Yes. Okay.
Oh.
Gamork starts whimpering, Fallon, and you look where Gamork is looking, and it takes a moment because it's so pale, but then you realize that the air near the ground has become a little bit foggy.
We're getting gassed, boys.
What are the doors made out of?
Stone.
All right. I can't. I'm trying to decide if shatter would work on a door made out of stone.
Slave girl, can you get rid of stop this from happening.
Hmm.
All right. Well, plan B then.
Y'all have 10 seconds to tell me if you want to do anything.
I third level shatter the door.
Okay. Shatter is 20 yard. What is it? 20-foot radius.
10-foot radius.
10. Oh, it's just 10 feet.
Yeah,
Okay, so
and
you-
it's a sphere, so I can put the sphere like right on the door and get. I guess it's still 10 feet from the door.
Okay, 10 feet. That's fine.
So I say stand back, I guess, and then I
Yep.
say, all right, plan B, stand back,
All right.
and then I stand up and.
I need to consider what a proper will be for the door. Probably at least. Okay, go ahead and roll shatter damage. Okay, and also.
I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll those ones.
Okay.
Okay, well that sucks. What an awful. I've never gotten good results when I've used empowered spell. Feels bad, man.
Oh, and
Okay.
also give me roll a d6.
So 18 damage.
Or is it a d8?
What did we say it starts at? I think it was a d6, and then it ticks down one at a time.
Okay. So yeah, if you can remember to make a note anywhere that you're now on d5 for that.
Yeah.
But okay, so yeah, you fire off a shatter. You know, you guys hear a sort of nearly deafening boom. And you see distinct, like, large cracks appear in the door. But the integrity of the door does hold. And then at this point, I need everybody to give me a Constitution saving throw.
Well, at least it's a good one.
Gamork has advantage if he can see me.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Colleen and Halal both fall unconscious. The other three of you sort of steady yourselves, and like blink very much, concentrate, keep a grip on consciousness, and then the door finishes being, it basically is just wrenched open from the outside. You hear the clattering of stone as some busted parts of the door start to come down,
Robot.
and a bunch of Yuan-Ti come in after you. And that's where we leave off for tonight.
All right, you roboted pretty hard there, but I heard basically what you said.
Okay.
Well, everyone's a robot now.
All right. Well, goodbye, internet people. Roboting bad.
Yeah, everyone is.